raining any longer today and wasn't even expecting to have a press right? It must be P. It's over there, so I guess it must be P. I didn't even get the gimbal ready. I wasn't expecting to record it now. But the wind here, it's really strong. I'm going to record some trees when we are closer to want to show it.
Station Rijhaven. Theater Markthal. U kunt hier overstappen op de bus naar het SS Rotterdam. Change here for the bus to the SS Rotterdam. Station Rijhaven.
Already have the gimbal on hand. Let's exit the convention center with it. At the very least, you'll get a good view. Now I'm going to get to lunch. I've just met with one of my appointments, one of the companies that deals in healthcare VR. There are a few of them here. Some of them requested meetings, and at first I wasn't very familiar with the way the app of the event works. But it actually works really well. Like through the events app, you can request to have meetings with people, and surprisingly, it really works. So, oh come on, is it raining again? I was really hoping it would have stopped, because earlier it wasn't. Okay, it's really light rain for now. I think I can walk through it. And so my idea here now is to go to the Markthal, which is a famous building here in Rotterdam. And since I'm already here, I'm leaving the Doellen venue, which is actually more of a place for classical concerts, but it's also where the meeting is being hosted. And today I looked at my cell phone and it said that the chance of rain today was, I think, 5%. And so I opted not to take my umbrella with me, because I was like, why would I if I can just not have to carry it as well? And that was evidently a bad idea. Fortunately, the rain is light, and I'm not really sure even if the food is really great at the... Okay, I will have to get my shoes tied. They have untied. I'm not really sure even if the food is that great at the Markthal, but I'm going more for the building. So here we have some Christmas decoration, and back there the Stadhuis. I'm absolutely positive I'm mispronouncing it, but I will later add a voice over to this video and I will add the correct pronunciation. So later I will put how I pronounce correctly. There is a hollow Christmas tree here, and I'm absolutely going through it. Most people take a picture, but since I'm already recording, why not? And so I'm walking through right the center of Rotterdam, and there are a few buildings that survived the German bombing during the Second World War. One of them is a famous church nearby. I think we're going to walk in front of it. going to wait for the rain a bit. As improved a bit, I actually tried to buy an umbrella at a store which has a very large logo. So since I'm going to be filming it, I decided it might not be a good idea. Fortunately, the rain has stopped. But here's another hint for anyone traveling to the Netherlands. Your phone weather app lies. You told me it wouldn't rain today, and it did. Some Christmas decoration on the cafes and restaurants here. That's the city hall. And once again, my shoe is untied. Can we get inside the city hall? I think we can. I saw something about it on the internet. Not sure if they will let me film inside there, but I think it's worth a try since we're already here. So this is exactly the town hall Stadhuis metro station where I got off today. Usually I get to Rotterdam Central, but for once I decided to come up here precisely because I wanted to have a look before coming to film later. Let me stop the recording to take a picture. I am at the town hall. There's some information here saying whether you can record or not, but I don't speak Dutch, so I have no idea what it means. So if they stop me, it means that no, you can't record. Hello, good morning. Is this the town hall?
Yes.
Are you allowed to record in here?
No, you can. No filming.
No filming?
No filming, please. Only pictures.
Okay, so this is the Stadhuis, the city hall. They didn't allow filming inside there, but they did allow pictures. Not sure what's the exact logic, but so be it. I managed to take some pictures there. And now, I believe a large amount of the more historic buildings are on this street. And I mentioned I'm going to get lunch, and if you're watching the previous videos, I said yesterday I forgot to have lunch. I was in such a hurry going from one place to the next, I did not stop to eat. So, fortunately, I've been eating a really heavy breakfast. Usually in Brazil, breakfast has more like fruits like watermelon, melon, mangoes, this sort of things, and also some bread. Here in the Netherlands, at least during the winter, we get like a lot of egg and sausages and more like curated meats. And I'm not saying we don't have that in Brazil, it's just not as common. Although finding fruits and salad here during the winter is something of a challenge. But that definitely helped me to get through the day. So I'm now more in the Maritiem region. I just realized I overwalked a little bit over what I had to do, but to some degree this is good because you can see some of the more water on the side of the city here. I just came from that way, the center of the city, and the Rotterdam Central and the Doellen is all that way, and you just heard the wind knock over some trash cans there, and man, the wind here is strong. It's some of the strongest wind I've ever seen in my life. And here, what I previously called the creek is actually a part of the Maas River, which is in some sense the same thing, because a lot of the rivers here in Rotterdam are actually subdivisions of the rivers that get here. You see, the Rhine does not end in an estuary, it ends in a delta. So it branches off a lot before reaching the sea. And one of the consequences of that is that you have many rivers here that are not really exactly tributaries, but are rather branches of the larger rivers before touching the sea. This is the Maritime Museum. I would hope to see it later here, but as always, definitely not enough time for everything. And there was something else, some other point I was going to raise. Which was it? Small piece of the Erasmus Bridge right here. There's a little bit of sun there, almost as if it wanted to show up. We're getting closer to the Markthal. You can already see a small piece of it here. But we're first going to go a bit ahead to look at the cube houses. There's of course the Dutch name for the cube houses I looked before, but I absolutely cannot remember how to pronounce it. So later I'll edit it. And you also can see here a small piece of the church, which is one of the very few, okay, the image is not catching well because of the contrast, one of the very few buildings that survived the bombing and is still from the Middle Ages. So there is at least one building surviving from the Middle Ages here in Rotterdam. And this is a really interesting area of the city because it's here that a lot of the more iconic buildings are. Since Rotterdam is not that historic because so much got destroyed, a lot of what the city is known for are more modern and experimental buildings. So I can already see a bit of it, like the Pencil Tower and the cube houses. And the Markthal is already appear on the side of my view here. So this is the Markthal, and I'll talk about it while I walk to the cube houses so that it can stay in view. So this is actually a large indoor closed market that is completely lined by apartment units.